What's up, everybody? It's a cold, snowy day out here. I've been hunkered into the studio and just been here, sitting here, painting up these beautiful mountain mugs, carving away. But I figured it's time for a studio vlog. Haven't done one of these in a while, and I need to get a bunch of stuff done. And sometimes the best way to do it is to film yourself. So that's what we're doing. Let's jump in. Alright, y'all, so in this one, we go through it all. We go in through the stamping, the glazing, the results, all of it. So stick around. It's multi-days, but I hope you enjoy. Alright, first things first, we got a lot of mugs to stamp. I got a bunch of stuff for a wholesale order that needs to go out, and I'm trying to get some of these mountain mugs listed online for you guys. So, this is what I use to stamp my logo. I kind of like it because it kind of gives like an industrial type feel. I just use a rubber stamp. Instead of handwriting everything, it just doesn't, my handwriting's not good. So if I try to do it like that, it's not good. So this rubber stamp's really easy. It allows me to crank out stuff, and then you may have seen it before, but I try to orient it so that when you go to drink out of it, you see the logo if you pick it up with your right hand. But we got a lot to stamp, so let's get some like time-lapse action or something going on here. I had to switch to stamping the black ink on all of my speckled mugs. Oh, that's a lot. Ooh. I just refilled this, and I think I just added a ton of ink on there. That one's gonna be kind of sloppy. Wasn't that bad. I was about to load up all those mountain mugs, and then I realized I've got other stuff that needs to go in first because these have to get in. It's spring break time out here in the mountains, so I need to get these mugs in because I should have had them out this week. These are 75 mugs for a coffee shop that I make stuff for, Rocky Mountain Roastery. It's in the same shopping center as me. Awesome coffee shop, but they fly through some mugs, and I make money when they make money. So, you know what I'm saying? We gotta do this together. So I'm trying to ride the wave of spring break. So today's Friday. So if I drop these in today, I'm hoping I can kind of start glazing and have these come out on Monday. We shall see, but yeah, I'm in that weird season where I don't really have a deadline per se, and so it really just forces me to become more disciplined. And I think that's one of the biggest problems is, as a procrastinator, I'm like, man, you know, I've got so much time, and I don't focus on the right things because there's no immediate deadline. This one is probably the only immediate deadline I have right now, but I've got a lot of other stuff that I'm trying to do. So I've been trying to stay focused. I tried to like make a content calendar. I filmed some stuff about it. I don't know if I posted it or not, but it'll be in this video. So we're doing the content calendar life, and that means that I failed the first week, but you know, maybe we'll be better this week. Who knows? Either way, I gotta get all this stuff stamped. So let's keep it moving, baby. So, you definitely won't have seen this video by the time this comes out, but a little sneak peek. I made some pretty wild planters that I'm pretty pumped on. So yeah, these will be pretty cool. I'll just link to I don't want to spoil it too much, but I'll link to the video, and you can see how these are going to be displayed and who these are a surprise for. I'll link that video. It should be the video that comes out after this. So this was another one of the projects that I was like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna do this, and then I kind of forgot about my big wholesale order. So I started the planners, filmed everything, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, I have way too much to do over here. So the planners will be coming out soon, but I'm pumped on them. I also realized that I forgot to make drip trays. So, you know, that's annoying. Ooh, let's see if we can split the whole. Oh, that was perfect. Bearded pottery, doing awesomeness. If you've made planters before, definitely check out my planter video and let me know what I did wrong, because I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'd like to. Okay, so I'm gonna try to get some shots of, like, you know, time lapse. I'm like always like trying to find a good angle. So I'm going with the top down. I'm using this oh, don't like that. I'm using this little flexible arm thing that I used a lot That's a little bit more flexible than I thought it would be. There we go. I bend this in place before. Okay, hopefully that's what we want. All this so I can get a little time-lapse shot. This is why I should have done this before, because there's like terrifying things sometimes when I adjust this. I open this up and then my phone falls, and that would be really awkward if I just drop my phone into the kiln. There you go, huh? Maybe we need to cut the light on. This is why it takes so long to film yourself. Woo, that looks way better. All that work just to get that shot. All right, Josh, be careful. Yeah, I'm really nervous about that. I don't want to destroy them. But if you're not an artist, you may not realize this, but the first quarter of the year is typically my slowest quarter in terms of sales and such. So I have the question for you artists out there, as I'm trying not to fall into my kiln. What do you do to stay motivated this time of year? Like for me, it's like, oh man, I deserve this break. It's so nice. And you know, sure, maybe I do deserve a break, but I also need to keep making stuff. So how you guys stay focused? Because for me, I'm always like, oh yeah, and I'll be chilling, but then I'll enjoy the break and I'll be back in it. And then I'm like, oh, all of a sudden, I'm really busy. I'm also standing on one foot right now because I'm trying not to fall into the kiln. Well, so it's looking like I'm not gonna be able to get as many mugs as I was hoping. We may get a little cheeky. Oh yeah, we're getting real cheeky, boys and girls. I'll show you this in a second. We're stacking mugs. Let me count off the top of my head. There's gonna be close to 100 mugs in here. And some of these planters. You know, that's a pretty good batch. Not the best, but also not the worst. This is only our second firing of the year though. And that part is not great. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm throwing these mugs in upside down first. So I'm putting them in like this, and then like this. The reason I'm doing that is because I don't have enough room for a shelf. And this way, I can just bisque a lot more. All right, check this out. Okay, so as you can see, I wasn't gonna have enough room. Instead of trying to fit a shelf in here, it's just easier sometimes just to do that. I will add one caveat. If you are gonna stack stuff in the bisque, really make sure that it's completely dry, because if one of those pieces blows up and you got stuff stacked, it's gonna start chain reaction. It can get bad real quick. Don't ask me how I know, but let's get this kiln started. This thing still kind of weirds me out. I don't necessarily know. Okay, my programs. All right, what is nice is it just has it labeled. That's my bisque fire. Perfect. Just like that. We got the boom. Now it's time to go dinner with some friends. I should have picked this vlog up last night. My wife came up here, we watched a movie and painted all these labels and got everything waxed. Long story short, I should have done it earlier, but I started the kiln a little bit late, probably because I was filming. Either way, so I didn't start glazing or doing all this till like 7 o'clock last night, and so I didn't get anything glazed. So now I gotta get everything glazed because today I got a curling match and we're also getting a new couch. We'll see how much we get done, but let's jump in and see how this goes. All right, so some of these, you just dip the rim, and then that's how you get the desired glaze effect. It's all about layering. Put this glaze on first to get the effect. Some of my layered glazes I put on after I've glazed it. You know, it's all about trial and error. Got the camera in the sky there. So the curling went down like this. I'm shooting last. This is the final round. We're down by 2. I have to knock their stones out of the way so that we can get 2 close to the middle. And this is my throw. My wife grabbed this video. How crazy. Boom! So we go to overtime, and it came down to the same thing. Again, in overtime, we did a full round instead of just closest. I knocked theirs out of the middle. We had the point for the win, and then they came in and knocked mine out because they had the last throw. So we lost. Tough. All right, another day, and we are still glazing. Didn't come in at all yesterday. Lost in the curling championships. It was so close. It hurt. Anyways, so we're finishing up glazing. and I'm about to do something that I really hate to do, but it's really important. Measure specific gravity. So if you've never done this before, basically to figure out the water content of your glaze, which is very key in getting replicable results, you need to know the water. You need to know what's called the specific gravity. I have this thing here, and we're gonna measure up 100 milliliters. Then we divide that by 100, and then that gives us like our water content. Every glaze is a little bit different. And I've got a glaze that I'm putting on top that does this. It's really thick right now. Instead of just continuing to add water, like who knows, I'm gonna measure the specific gravity, and then that way, even if it's wrong, I'll at least know what to do in the future, and I'll be able to measure it. So sometimes you just gotta do these things. Okay, so we've got our scale. You got this here. Now we're gonna try to pour this. Look how thick that is. Don't mess it up. Man, that's really hard to tell. Look at that, it's like crowned. Filming can be a lot of work, and sometimes it just makes more work. So if you saw at the beginning of the last clip, I hadn't zeroed out my scale once I put the little measuring device on there. So I was like, man, that seems really, really thick, because I forgot to zero this out. So let's do it again. All right, we got it that time. It does need a little bit more water, so I gotta add some water and then do it all over again, and then we'll get our final number. All right, light's kind of blown out looking that way, but whatever. We got it dialed in, I think. Got the glaze where we want it. I also just realized I didn't write it down. Doing that now. Spring break, so a bunch of people are like coming by the shop, which has been kind of fun, but they're slowing me down. Might have to get a little more coffee. But one of the things that I really like about these glazes that I'm doing right now is that it's just a 2-dip process. For the longest time, some of my favorite glazes had 3 glazes on them. This one's done now. 2 dips and it's done. I cut 30% of the process out by doing 2 glazes. So that's a win. But yeah, what's your favorite glaze combo? Are you a paint on? Are you a dip glaze? That's the real question. I know a lot of people are paint on. I feel like a lot of people when they're starting out do that. For me, we almost dropped the sponge. Better than the soap, but we almost dropped the sponge in the glaze. Yeah, what I was saying was, a lot of people when they're starting out, they choose to go with the paint on glazes, and you know, I can see why. You can definitely get more variety. But once you figure out kind of what you want, man, it's so much nicer just to be able to dip glazes, especially making your own. You just have control over so much more. Okay, here we go. Oh no, just touched the wet glaze. But anyways, we've got a friend coming by here soon, so I'm gonna try to keep rolling through this. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 different glazes, and they all get the same top coat applied to them. And I think I'm gonna extend this vlog so that you can see me unload the kiln too. Stick around and you'll see how these all turn out. I'll show you the befores and the afters, but for right now, I need to jump back in and keep doing it. All right, we got everything loaded up and got the planters in, got them on stilts, got all the wholesale mugs in. So let's close the kiln and get out of here. The time we've been waiting for, it's time to unload the kiln. So let's open this thing up. Woo! A little sneak peek. Alright, so let's unload this. I got the camera set up again, doing some time lapse. So we're gonna unload this, and then we really need to get this taken over to the coffee shop, but I wanna show you how some of these glazes come out, because they look really good. Well, you can't win them all. This one kind of ran down a little bit too far. My blue glaze was just a little bit too watery. Yeah, we'll have to grind that down, but it'll still be alright. Really digging this shape these days. Just like that wide bottom, narrow neck kind of thing. Fits the hand. I mean, look how well that fits my hand. Ooh wee. Yeah, so really excited for a lot about how these mountains came out. I did make some mountain thumb cups. Look at that. Thumb fits. So I made some of these, just a few, but I'll show you all the glazes that I put on the wholesale order for the coffee shop. I really like this style of shape. This is really similar to the beer mugs that I make, but it's got a little nice groove for the pinky So, pretty fun mug. Classic drippy. Love that break right there. Look at all the color you get in here. Crazy, man, crazy. We got a lot of them. This one, always a classic. Let's get a little better lighting. Ooh wee. We got a decent amount. Also tried a couple new glaze combos. This one, I think came out pretty good. It's got a really pastel-y kind of feel to it. This one looks very similar, but if you look at the way, it's a different glaze on top. Yeah, so now I just need to sand these, box them up, and take them over. But you guys don't need to watch that. Thanks for coming to this weekly vlog. Another week in the Pottery Studio. But also, watch this video or this video. And if you haven't, like, subscribe. If you like more of this, tell me. And we'll see you on the next one.